Nathan, welcome to the show.
Howdy, Mel. It's a pleasure to be here today.
It is. It's very exciting. So, there was a question. You were part of an older show that we had, which is the KBay 103.9 FM Homegrown Hour.
That is correct. We did a lot of good interviews there.
You did. You joined me on a lot of those good interviews.
That is correct.
So one of the questions you heard me ask all the people that were out there in KBay land, now it's Society Network land, I asked them this question. Nathan Dees, where did your journey begin in music?
Well, when I was a boy, growing up on the banks of the San Jacinto River, the mighty muddy San Jacinto, a world-famous venue was down the street from my house on the river called the Magnolia Gardens. And so on the weekends, we would venture down there, sneak through the woods. It was a public beach, and children and families could get in there anyways, but we'd sneak in because we had no money and go watch country bands and rock bands and blues bands perform on the stage at the Magnolia Gardens. And that just really had a great impact on me as a youth, and I always wanted to be on that stage. Several other things happened in my childhood and early teens that really affected that, that we'll get into later. But the first initial thing was having a world famous live music venue that was available. It wasn't a bar, it was a beach, so families could be there and people met and danced and drank and had a good time. And there were, as a matter of fact, it's the first place that Elvis Presley was ever filmed at was in the Magnolia Gardens in my hometown of Sheldon, Texas.
Yep, I'm an Elvis Presley fan, just in a interlude right there, and I can verify that for a fact. I've seen a couple of different photos of him at Magnolia Gardens.
Yeah, and even local music legend Rusty Fielding and his brothers and his band played at the Magnolia Gardens. Alton Edens, another local famous musician, literally lived 2 blocks from the Magnolia Gardens, and I rode a school bus to school with his sister, who's also an excellent country singer, Monica.
Good old Alton Edens.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool that you give a shout out to him. What's going on, Alton?
Yeah, no. We tell you, we are Marble Falls. I mean, we're Sheldon, Texas, Channel View, all of us up here hiding out.
Absolutely. Okay, so you got your passion for your music. Back in the day, Sheldon, Texas, Magnolia Gardens and stuff like that. And I guess the aura that Elvis once played there played a large part of that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Tex Ritter and Bob Wills, everybody.
Yep. So what did you do after that, after you're 18 years old?
Well, even before that, no, man. When I was 13 or 14 years old on Christmas Eve, my best friend Thad's cousin had a band called Stray. And they were breaking out. They were getting radio airplay. They were opening for Steppenwolf on a nationwide tour. And Mark Parker was violently murdered at random at a red light in Pasadena, Texas. And we vowed, me and his brother and Mike English and several others, to never drop that torch for Mark and to continue playing guitar in his honor.
Okay, I can, man. I know it's important to you because you're getting emotional.
Oh yeah, no, it's really a life-changing event.
Right.
But from that point, at that age, we really started playing AC/DC, Judas Priest, Scorpions, all the way up till I was 14 or 15 years old. Mike English and I, another famous Austin musician from Herlon and Tobias and several other metal bands, were playing, Iron Maiden at 15 years old. Back-to-back lead solos, trading stuff off. And so from 15 to 19 or 20, I was in heavy metal bands and punk rock bands and playing at parties, house parties, events. We opened at the second annual Woodshock in Dripping Springs when I was 17 years old.
So that's the second annual Woodshock?
Shock ever, yeah. It's a famous event now. And a lot of the bands that were playing there are Texas music icons like the Hickoids and Tales of Terror, Poison 13. Really, again, iconic people in the Texas punk rock and underground music scene all played that show. And my lifelong friend Art Napley, Texas bass guitar legend in his own right, opened that show, our first show, when we were 17 years old.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so yeah, we ain't even hit 18 yet. By the time we were in our 20s, I had a deep religious conversion and started following Christ. Well, my other buddies, which I've lived in their shadow for my whole life, the guys in my band formed Herlant and went on and toured with Hellstar and Pantera and bands of that caliber and magnitude during the 90s while I was in my local Baptist church playing hymnals.
Okay. So you got your influence from, I guess, the underground Texas punk rock scene,
Yeah.
right? And so you left Sheldon, Texas. What did you do after that? Was that
Well,
just
we ended up in Dripping Springs because my family moved there. And
Okay.
that's where I met Art.
right?
I
Right. Okay.
transplanted Jimmy Renteria, my drummer, and Mike English from Sheldon, Texas, and brought them to Austin.
Okay. So
And-
you brought
and-
your entire band over into
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay. So so that was your very first band. What was the name of that first band again?
Texas Metal Force.
Texas Metal Force.
Texas Metal.
You know what I mean? It's like, look, I'm part of the Texas Metal Force.
That was it.
Coming for you in a town near you.
Texas Metal.
Yeah. So so it was Texas Metal Force. So so y'all formed up Texas Metal Force, and then what happened? You hit Austin by storm, or you said, you know what, we're just going to play in the garage.
No. I literally, at the point at which we were breaking out and getting old enough to get in bars and things like that and play big events and everything.
Right. Right.
I went to a Christian heavy metal concert sponsored at a church in Houston and had a life-changing experience and quit drugs and alcohol and everything to follow a path of religion for nearly a decade or so. As a matter of fact, I went to seminary and became a licensed and ordained minister.
Okay.
But eventually I learned that I could be more Christ-like and do more for Christ outside of the church, being real with real people, than I ever could with a proverbial Bible stuck up my butt, judging everybody in behind a pew or in a pulpit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my ministry is being real with real people, where the rubber meets the road. That's where the Reverend is.
A lot of people get so lost, and it's just, I'm just saying this to you, Nathan. A lot of people get lost, and I don't want to go too deep in the religious thing at all, but they do get lost. They feel that they can't go to their brick and mortar church, that somehow they're not going to be saved. But that's not the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyways,
Yeah. If you need a savior, save yourself, because ultimately it's the choices you make that make the difference in your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Well,
Yeah, within reason.
within reason.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, well, back to the music thing. Got a little bit off there. Okay, so Texas Metal Force. It's killing it. What knocked out the Texas Metal Force that y'all just stopped playing? Was it the religious?
No, that was it. I stopped playing all secular music for 14 years. While they went on and their consecutive bands all became famous and recording contracts and everything, I was in the local church. But then even through that, I ended up in a TV network church on Daystar and TBN, performing 3 nights a week for 3,000 to 5,000 people in a live audience. So instead of learning your set and doing your gig and everything, I learned 3 sets of music I had never heard before, and I performed it at 3 performances that week, showed up on Thursday and got 3 more sets of music to learn.
There you go.
And we played gospels and choruses and things like that for, again, 3,000 to 5,000 people in the audience, televised worldwide 3 nights a week on Pastor Walter Hallam at Abundant Life. So I played guitar for people like Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland, Oral Roberts, some of the Kenneth Copeland, some of the most famous television evangelists in the world. I performed gospel music on guitar with the band. So while they went on and did their secular music career, I had a very successful career in Christian music.
Christian rock and roll.
I had a Christian rock and roll band called Antidote. and we did street ministry.
Okay, so I'm sure that name was a metaphoric expression for
Poison.
Okay,
That was it. It was
there
the
you go.
opposite of poison. Was the antidote.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So okay, that's really
Clever.
cool. Okay, so we're gonna take a second real quick to get you set up to do a song for us.
That'll be wonderful.
Okay, so we're gonna. All right, here we go. Here's a single by Reverend Nathan. A Love Like Yours, Reverend Nathan, Volume 1, the CD. Here you go.
Know that your kisses, they melt me like ice. When you're my missus, my life is quite nice. Those days are long past, the passion still remains. I never wanted anyone else. I never wanted to be on by myself. I never wanted to be put up on your shelf. I never knew how it felt to lose a love like yours, the way you hold me and love me all night. The way you touch me makes me feel alright. The way you left me standing all alone. You took all my loving and you were gone. 'Cause I never wanted anyone else. I never wanted to be all by myself. I never wanted to be put up on a shelf. I never knew how it felt to lose a love like yours. I never wanted anyone else. I never wanted to be all by myself. I never wanted to be put up on your shelf. I never knew how it felt to lose a love like yours. I never knew how it felt to lose a love like yours.
All right, man. That's the Reverend Nathan Dees, Volume 1.
Available
Like
worldwide
yours.
on Spotify and Spotify and Deezer and everything. Every platform, Pandora, Box, every digital streaming platform, Amazon Music, YouTube. If you can spell Nathon with an O, you can find this music available worldwide.
No, it's great stuff, man. I've actually heard that song before. You know, of course, we know each other outside the studio.
Yeah, no, it's playing on the radio worldwide, everywhere's but Marble Falls, as a matter of fact.
Right. Okay. So, so what inspired that song? A love like yours.
A Love Like Yours, for a very long time, for nearly 18 years after my second tragic divorce with a woman I really loved, I just, I wanted her to feel bad for the pain and suffering that she had caused me. So I wrote that hit song So every woman in the world that goes, oh my God, I can't believe somebody loves someone like that, would understand that, yeah, they threw me away, but somebody else found me. And now I have a new love in my life. So
Well, there you
it's
go.
a happy story. But it was inspired by my second divorce.
Okay.
Just to let her know, I never really realized how much it was going to hurt to lose a love like that. Turns out it wasn't real.
It's wild. So much music today, Nathan, is people write it about the love that they lost.
It's the blues, man. If you can't share a sad story and relate to somebody, then they feel that and say, wow, that I understand that. That guy feels like me. He's real. I write some songs and I'm like, wow, that's so sad. That's depressing. I don't want to play that. And then people contact me and say, that song really touched me. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep singing the blues.
I've seen a lot of those posts out there, and it's no doubt on social media of, people expressing that. They're like, man, that song really touched me, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I have a song called I'm Still Breathing that I was like, I'll never play this song live. And a lady told me I couldn't believe that somebody understood how I felt.
It's rough. And we can all agree on this, that when it comes to love, man, that pain stinks. It really does.
Yeah, but to live is to suffer and to love is to suffer. And you won't appreciate a good person in your life until you've loved, suffered, and lost from somebody who really didn't appreciate you.
Touche.
Amen.
Touche. Touche right there, brother. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more. So you had the Texas Metal Force. Then you went on your sabbatical.
Yeah, and they did Antidote and did the Christian music and everything.
Okay, so now I know that you lived down in Costa Rica.
I moved to Costa Rica and ran a surfers hostel for over a decade.
Okay, so what prompted you to say, you know what? You got up one morning, I'm packing my stuff, and I'm headed to Costa Rica. Was it like that, or was it?
I was rebounding from a divorce and going through a bankruptcy, and I said, man, it would be easier to start over in a third world country than to do this again. And my dad looked at me and said, have you ever considered Costa Rica? Floyd goes down there every 2 weeks. So I started researching Costa Rica, and I moved down there. Then after certain events, I was forced back in the U.S., at which time I found out that I was eligible for SSDI because of my beliefs in Christianity and my faith in the Bible and the calling on my life as a minister and a prophet. I used the secular terminology used in psychology to condemn the calling in my life and prove that I had schizoaffective disorder if I heard the voice of God. And so they gave me a free government lifetime check for believing that I was called and anointed. And I moved back down to Costa Rica and lived on SSDI for free.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. So
Yeah,
I guess
was the whole deal.
For all the people out there watching, in Society Network land, you just learned how you
I wrote a book on it. You can get it on Amazon.com right now, How to Live in Costa Rica on a Government SSDI check. All you got to do is believe in the Bible that it's true. Because if you hear the voice of God, you hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, and you hear the voice of Satan trying to convince you otherwise, and you hear the id, the ego, and the alter ego, then by definition in the DSM-4 or now 5, you have schizoaffective disorder, and you're crazy, and you get a check.
Okay. Well, we won't go too much on that one right there because
that's how I ended up in Costa Rica, and that's how I was afforded the opportunity to minister to other people's lives, to write books, to write singer-songwriter, acoustic songs, and perform for people from all over the world that came and stayed in my hostel. That increasing my name, my web spiders, the book series, and everything from being a national act to being an international act.
Okay.
And having fans worldwide.
So what brought you out of Costa Rica back to America?
My father's health and some of my unique discoveries, my scientific and archaeological discoveries required that I have greater access to scientists and geologists than I did in Costa Rica because I discovered some really fascinating things. I wrote books about meteorites and archosaurs and things such as that.
Okay, so how many books do you have in total?
Probably 12. but they're little chapter books, you know.
Like little short stories.
They're short stories. They're coffee table books.
Okay, cool. Bathroom books.
I guess. You read it wherever you want.
Okay, however you want to say it.
Big books with a lot of fluff, trying to impress people, don't get the point across, and they intimidate people and they don't read them.
And you get
lost. A little
lost.
chapter book, I'll put more than 40,000 words than someone else will put in a book 3 inches thick.
Right, with 400,000 words.
Yeah, of bullshit. Beep.
Yeah. Oh, and that reminds me real quick, talking about books. Yours truly wrote one called A Hero's Walk. Go to Amazon and get it. It's usually always sold out.
Mel Highsmith. Amazon.com.
A Hero's Walk.
Hero's Walk.
So, okay, so there we go. Let's start talking about the second tune that you're going to do for us today on Society Network.
Okay.
Homegrown After Dark.
It's the premiere track on my album, Reverend Nathon Volume 1. It's called Darker Shade of Blue. And just a unique twist on the blues. So many things are in the same open 3 chords. And I'll give credit where credit's due. I was watching one of my heroes, Alex Skolnick from Testament. And he does a jazz band too, the Alex Skolnick Trio, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And he's like, you know, the A, E, and D, open blues shuffle. He said, why don't you do the same exact thing, but play the D minor chord and play the chords over it and see what a difference it makes. And I just picked up a Les Paul that I had at the time. You know, I'm always inspired when I pick up a new guitar.
Yes,
and
sir.
I played those 3 chords and immediately turned on the recorder and did this. I've known hard times and troubles all my life. I've known hard times and troubles all my life. Spent so much time suffering, getting over strife. Guess it's nothing new. Stuck a shade of blues. I've always been lonesome, no one to call my own. I drift from town to town, no place to call my own, and yes, it's nothing new. Stock shade of blues, and I don't know why things have to feel this way. But the black and the white seem to fade to gray. I don't know why things never seem to change. I try and I try, but it always is the same. I've known hard times and troubles all my life. I spent so much time suffering, getting over strife. Guess it's nothing new. Stock a shade of blues. I don't know why things have to feel this way, but the black and the white seem to fade to gray. I don't know why things never seem to change. I try and I try, but it always is the same. I've known hard times and troubles all my life. I spent so much time suffering, getting over strife, and yes, it's nothing new. It's just like a shade of blues. darker shade of blue.
All right, and there you go. Reverend Nathon Dees, Reverend Nathon, Volume 1, Darker Shades of Blue. Along with that other track, And Love Like Yours, right now on Spotify.
Yes, since this CD came out, for the last 66 consecutive days, it has been in the U.S. top 20 on Reverb Nation against 6 million other artists worldwide. So it's getting phenomenal response. We're negotiating with Alligator Records right now, hoping to get a recording contract. We're soliciting management right now and trying to hook up a tour to promote this album, as well as going back into the studio to record Reverend Nathon Volume 2. I've got a backlog of over 70 recorded demos before I can start recording new, fresh material with this band.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? That's just absolutely amazing. One thing I can tell you, I can guarantee you, because I know Nathan pretty well, or at least I think I do. A backlog of 70 tunes already, and this guy, he writes and records full-length CDs in like 4 days, flat.
Well, this CD was recorded in 24 hours of recording time, and it's just not to me. When I got a Texas music legend like Gary Dell's coming in and laying the drum tracks for 12 songs in one take with no overdubs and no retakes.
Right.
All you got to do is go in there and record the album, guys. If you cannot play your 45-minute set live with no mistakes, you have no reason to be in the studio anyways, because you can't reproduce what you're recording live.
No doubt. And so you're saying that I've been there also. That's Patrick Devaney at Dub
That is
Studio.
Dub Recording Studios. Jet and Patrick, 2 thumbs up.
Great guys. I've been there with my own family band, the Highsmith. It was a great experience and journey. So we produced one song in a year's time. Had to go back and put vocals to it, but he finished his whole albums in 24 hours. And this is joke.
Songs are 4 minutes long, people. You play it correctly, you play it with passion, and capture that. That's the best you can do. You can polish a turd forever, but if it's not a quality song with a quality recording, you can't play it anyways.
Yeah, no doubt.
But on that note, This Old Truck, the hit from the Highsmiths, great song. I was following a trailer today from Dripping Springs. I was out visiting 2 Texas music icons in their own right. Tom Eglin, singer-songwriter from Idaho, and our own Emmett Roach, world-famous pedal steel guitar player. And I see this old truck on a trailer. And I'm thinking, badass, man. Somebody's going to restore that old truck. Well, no. The hood flew off of the backwards truck and comes flying up towards me, lands on the road, and skids off. And that guy just took off. He had no idea. And I'm like, wow. That's going to be a piece of garbage. And it's got no value to anyone but that guy. And I got that hood, put it in my Excursion, and hauled ass, caught him at Johnson City going towards Blanco, ran him down, and gave him the hood to that old truck.
Yep, there you go.
That's a happy story.
Absolutely. No, it was really cool, this old truck. A lot of people won't do that, Nathan. You know what I mean?
I knew the value of that hood to that man because he wasn't going to find another 1930 Ford hood. And I had it right there in the back of my truck.
No doubt. So, I was just saying that a lot of people are not willing to do that. They're going to, say, screw it, go on about their lives. And, you should pull over, grab this guy's hood, sticks it in your Excursion, and then you catch him. But what was the expression on the guy's face when you came running up to him?
Well, he thought maybe he had broke down or something had happened, that he obviously lost something off his trailer. But he had no idea that he had lost that 4-piece fold-up hood off of that truck. And I pulled it out of my Excursion and go, hey, dude, I think you want this. And he just literally almost cried right there on the side of the road. He was so thankful.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
I didn't give him my card or tell him who I was. I just shook his hand, and I had to make it back here. So I came back here with This Old Truck Story.
There you go. There you go. It was a fun song, too. That's a theme song to one of our other shows for Society Network, which I'm the host of, called The Real with Mel
Yeah, but
Highsmith.
it speaks to so many people, man. If you live in Texas, some of us have had better relationships with our old trucks than we have with wives, girlfriends, and friends and everything else.
Well, there you go. You just give somebody a great idea for a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why I chose my truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty cool. So, Nathan, let's talk about the state of music right now. We don't go too in depth or get angry or anything like that. So
No, we don't have to, because like in so many things, I choose to look at the positive instead of the negative.
absolutely.
And although there's a lot of garbage out there and a lot of people playing tribute to other artists instead of becoming artists themselves, and a lot of people covering great classic rock and roll because they want to make a living and be a human jukebox instead of actually being creative and creating something that'll last for the future.
Yeah.
But there are artists like me, and there are singer-songwriters who appreciate the generation before us. And, I'm not the biggest name dropper in the world, but by God, I got to sit down and have a beer with Alex Harvey before he passed. And he sold
it was so sad.
315 million records worldwide. And his one song, Delta Dawn, was a hit, a number one hit, top 40 hit, 11 different times. So to even know a man like that and sit and talk to him and know he listened to my songs and reviewed them for me, and John Arthur and Mike Blakely, I mean, Grammy award-winning Texas songwriters. It makes me want to follow that heritage. Like I posted earlier this week, that out of all the wonderful people that have lived in this town, and doctors and lawyers and everything, there's a statue of Floyd Tillman because he put this town on the map.
John Arthur Martinez was very instrumental of getting that statue put there.
Well, we need a statue of John
Arthur
Martinez.
I agree. I agree.
Someday. God forbid I ever get a statue of my ugly mug, but
Right.
it would be truly an honor.
Well, John Arthur Martinez, it's well deserved.
Yeah.
It is. He's done so much for the local music. I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for him being the first guest on the K-Bay show,
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly, if I could be sitting here doing this with you right now on Society Network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was
I
there.
just don't.
It was very enlightening, to say the least.
Yeah, it's just pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool. That first show I remember it the most. That and then my son Nick's were the two shows I remember the most, because there was just a lot of shows, man. A lot of artists blew my mind. Okay, so the state of the music, man. What do you think's happened to Austin, Texas, and its music scene out there?
There isn't one, and there wasn't one last year. And we, with the rock band Thunder Rosa, I went from nearly coast to coast and border to border, 50 dates, 14 different states, all the way from Maine to Arizona. And some of the worst shows we played were in Austin, Texas for the other bands and their girlfriends. Because you can't fill a house in Austin, Texas. Nobody cares about the music. It costs you more to park and unload your equipment
Than it is to play.
Playing. And so that's what I have to say about Austin. You know, a myth about it being the live music capital of the world. You got to go on the outside of I-35 on the east side to actually go to a metal show or a rock venue, because I'm not going to say that California yuppies and hipsters and all that, have ruined the city, but liberalism in itself has killed Austin, the Austin music scene. And God bless everybody that's still hammering it out there, but I would prefer to play somewheres where I'm appreciated and take music to places where it's not available than to go there and once again not be respected.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I'm a part-time hobbyist musician, no doubt. I always admit that. right? I am. I have the dream like every musician, being like Def Leppard in the round in a stadium, right?
Right.
No doubt, no doubt. But the last time I went through Austin, I was heartbroken.
Oh yeah, man. There's tent cities on every
It
intersection from north to south to east to west, and just filth, absolute filth, and won't fund the police, and it's just. It's become the armpit of Texas, as far as many of us are concerned.
A total shame. There's another thing that I got to bring up. When we first met, you know what I mean? You had this thing called the Greater Marble Falls Live Music Society.
Yeah, it's still up and running, and it's one of the largest internet network groups that promotes every artist that's playing in this area, and anybody is welcome to post on it. If you want to reach a larger audience and you have shows, post it on the Greater Marble Falls Live Music Society page.
Yeah, the definite go-to here. We did a lot of pushing from the K-Bay show onto all these shows, and God, I don't know how many videos between me and you and talking about it. It is truly a platform. But you're the other end of that spectrum. Everybody always calls me the founder, and I'm not the founder. I was an operator.
No, I literally came into the pawn shop and said, "Hey, Mel, I'm considering doing this," and you said, "Go for it." So I went home and did it, and it was that simple.
Yep.
And I had no idea where it would take me, but because I did that, I've been invited to perform and to video presentations and audiences, and even more so, I brought together groups and friends that lived here locally, bands that did not know each other because everybody thought they were in competition.
Yeah.
And when we dispelled that myth,
the beast of music,
we ended up getting Charlie Sardo down here with an open mic at a local bar where local musicians can come and meet and perform. And that never happened before because the Brass Hall is managed out of New Orleans, and local acts just simply weren't welcome there or couldn't get gigs there.
No, they couldn't.
But because of the society and networking and us interviewing them on the radio, and
it's helped us quite a bit.
It's helped build a family out of the musicians in Marble Falls and the surrounding areas.
The journey that both of us took towards the center of that. I mean, it's wild. I would not think where's it at. It's almost 1,200 now or something like that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't even know. All I do is if I see a show from an artist I like, I share their show on that platform and everybody can see it. I don't care if I know them. I don't care who they are. No one's going to know about them or know about their show if somebody doesn't share it. And I realized that when I've seen that if somebody shared my video, it showed me who shared it.
Yep.
And I said, well, here's how I meet every single band in Central Texas. I share your video. Oh, my God. Who's this Nathon Dees? Who's sharing my video? He must be a cool guy. Yeah, it works that way.
That's a direct representative of networking.
Yeah, no, it
is. The society was put in place.
You want somebody to share your show and share your video, you better start sharing somebody's shows and videos.
People don't get it. People do not get it at all.
That's why they're not number one in their town and number one in their city and number 17 in their country, just from promoting other artists rather than themselves.
Bingo. That's the whole key to it all. I truly believe.
Yeah.
So you're here on Society Network's Homegrown After Dark. Society Network.
Show number 2.
Society Network is the same thing as the Greater Marble Falls, but it's in the video world.
It is in a podcast because there's only so much we can do on Facebook and the internet.
So this takes it to the next level. Lets everybody see the great artists and get an intimate look into the Reverend Nathon Dees. So let's ask you this question, Nathan. Okay, so where do you plan to go from here, realistically, in music?
Realistically, if I can continue where I'm at and the momentum that my CD is made right now and put out the second CD to back it up and have a full 2-hour show of original material, I'll never have to play another cover tune again if I don't want to. And so we're getting picked up. That's all there is to it. I'm speaking it into existence. We're looking at Prevost and American Eagles right now. My partner and manager, Gary Dales, it's not a pipe dream to him. It's a reality because he's already toured the world and he's already played for the president and he's already played at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville and recorded with a world famous artist, like our own Gary P. Nunn, a multi-Grammy award winning artist and such. So for him, it's not a pipe dream. It's the next tour.
Absolutely.
And I'm going with him. And that's all there is to it. I got people behind me. I've set up my life to where my home is just a place where I put my guitars because I live on a tour bus, in my excursion, in a hotel room, and playing the next gig at the next show in the next town. When that's over, well, then I can sit on my ass for the rest of my life. But I've got a destiny to fulfill and my mark to make in the Texas music industry, like all my legendary friends that have gone before me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if there's anything you can tell anybody out there on how to help them with their brand, you're pretty good at it.
Well, first you got to make one.
Yeah.
Not to get too deep for all your Jedis. It's a holographic reality. And if you're not programming your own reality, you're following somebody else's show. And if you don't write music, you don't have a brand to sell. You're a facsimile of something else. Ooh, what I mean?
Okay, well, yeah, you probably got a little bit too deep for some people, but
if you ain't got nothing to sell, you don't have a brand. If you don't have a personality that sells, you don't have a brand. There's a lot of nice guys and a lot of talented people out there that will never make it because they do not have something original and different that people will pay money for.
That's right. That's right. You got it. Originality. Once you figure out what your brand is, your niche, and
everybody I know spent their training period learning how to sound like someone else. And
instead
I
of
spent
themselves,
my entire music career desperately trying not to sound like anyone else.
Nathan, you don't sound like anybody else, and I can attest to that at 100%.
I'll take that as a 100%. Way.
You know what I mean? For like myself, you just want, when you walk into the room, you want everybody no mistaking. That's Nathon Dees.
Hey, man, the first time you hear Angus Young hit an SG, you know it's Angus Young.
Right.
When you hear Bon Scott, you know it's Bon Scott. When you hear Willie Nelson, you know it's Willie Nelson. Because they didn't try and sound like anybody else.
No doubt. Okay, so, we're coming to the close of the show. You got a third song you can do for us?
I'm sure I do. Let me think. This is a song called Destiny off of my first album, Destiny. Mama, I do the best I can. And Mama, I try to be a real good man. All my best intentions didn't turn like I planned. I sure hope you'll understand that this is my destiny, and this is what I'm supposed to be. This is my destiny. I always hoped that you might see I could never be the man that you wanted me to be. This is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be. Baby, you could never see. And lady, I never wanted to be free. You could only see me through your eyes of jealousy. I guess it was meant to be. But you were my destiny, and this ain't how it's supposed to be. You were my destiny. I always hoped that you might see I could never be the man that you wanted me to be. This is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be. Whoa. Father, yes, I know that I've done wrong. Father, I've been struggling for so long. I'd be with you in heaven, but I know I don't belong. Somehow everything's gone wrong. But this is my destiny, and this is what I'm supposed to be. This is my destiny. I always hope that you might see I tried to be like Jesus, now they're crucifying me. This is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to destiny, and this is what I'm supposed to be. This is my destiny. I always hope that you might see I could never be the things that you wanted me to be. This is my destiny. This is what I've chose to be. Whoa, this is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be.
All right, there you go.
Destiny.
Nathon Dees, his song Destiny. Okay, Nathan, we're going to be rounding out the show here. What would you like to tell everybody about how they can contact you, find you, whatever it might be out there in social media land?
I am the only person on earth named Nathon with an O, Quinn, Quinn, Dees, Delta Echo Echo Sierra. It's seed spelled backwards. It means the descendants of King David.
There you
the
go.
bloodline of Christ. If you want to look it up, I'm just that's what it is. Nathon Quinn Dees, the Reverend Nathan band. You put in the Reverend Nathan or Nathan Quinn Dees, and it'll pull up hundreds of videos and books and links to music and all kinds of stuff. From dinosaurs and Dinosaur Depot to meteorites, Texas stony iron, chondrites. I'm an expert in the field. And theology, religion, BS.
Okay, so where can they find Reverend Nathan Volume 1 at?
You can find this. You can buy it through my Reverb Nation page. There's links to it.
That's Reverb Nation, Reverend Nathan?
Yes, Texas guitar legend, Reverend Nathan Dees.
Oh, Reverb Nation, Texas guitar legend.
And it'll pull up. And you can get, these mailers are only available through me, but you can buy the Jewel Pack CD for $10 on Amazon.com worldwide. You can get it in France, you can get it in Spain, you can get it in Japan, anywheres. If you go to any streaming platform, Django or internet radio, just put in Nathon Dees or Reverend Nathan, and all of the songs on this CD will come up. Okay,
cool. So I tell you what, this is Reverend Nathon Dees playing his hit music off of Reverend Nathon Volume 1. You can check him out on all the places, social media. And until next week, we'll see your Society Networks, Homegrown After Dark.